time of my life. I never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.
If your roof starts to leak or your floor's really squeaky, live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, live in a money pit. Money pit. Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888 Money Pit.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit. I'm Leslie Segretti, and with me is Jim Kenzie. How's it going, Jim?
It's going great, Leslie. If I was any better, there would be two of me.
I don't know if I could handle two of you, Jim.
I don't know if you can handle just one of me.
Sometimes I think you're right.
I know.
Well, listen, I'm just so happy that we've sort of turned the corner of what seemed like an endless summer. It just kept feeling like warmer and warmer and warmer, and now at least it's autumn, right?
Which is both of our favorite season. See? So there's one thing we don't disagree on, Leslie.
We don't disagree on a lot of things, but I will ask you, how are the leaves over there? Is it like full color? Is it popping?
It's beautiful, and there's a place up in northern Michigan we go to on the, like, if you look at your left hand, it's on the tip of your pinky. It's called the Tunnel of Trees, and it's a 26-mile run that's basically all tree covered. Oranges, reds, and it's beautiful. Yeah, we try to go every year.
Oh, that's
beautiful. And now's
beautiful.
the time, yeah.
Well, we are heading up to Vermont this weekend. It's sort of like my first chance before the ski season to get the condo ready for renters. And I hope that I haven't missed like the leaf season up in Vermont, but I feel like I'm going to be a little late.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It's still going to be great, though.
Why are you getting the place ready? I thought you had people to do that.
Yes, the people are Leslie and Henry and Charlie and Mike, the boyfriend. We are the people who do that.
You are the people.
But yeah.
Power to the people, actually, Leslie.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? There's so much to tackle around your house and our home before the winter arrives. So let's get to it, you guys. So, first of all, I know I'm talking about winter, but let's think about spring here. I mean, is spring the only season for home makeovers? Well, no. Fall is kind of the perfect time to refresh your home with a fresh coat of paint. Temperatures are cooler, humidity is lower, and you're spending more time indoors, which means you're really going to notice the changes of these small makeovers. So we're going to share some tips there for...
You're going to what?
We're going to share some tips there. Sometimes I don't speak well, Jimmy. I've been up since 3 a.m.
Oh, I just have fun picking on you, Leslie.
You're lucky I love you. You're lucky, man.
I am lucky. I'm blessed.
All right. Also ahead is your once roomy home shrinking. Maybe your family's growing. Maybe you're acquiring more stuff. Well, are you running out of space in your home? Well, if your basement's become more storage unit than living space, it might be time to flip that script. Coming up, we're going to share some creative tips for turning that blank slate in your home into its best bonus room, from waterproofing basics to smart design ideas that will make the most of every inch. And this is the time of year that sort of really amps everything up in the house. Foot traffic. It is just insane how many kids are coming and going. Then it's the holidays and family is coming and going. So if your front entry or that mud room is starting to look more mud than room, well, it might be time. Yeah, it happens, Jim. And forget it. If we just come back from a soccer game, talk about like clumps of, I don't know, maybe goose poop and mud and grass. I don't know how many times I have to say, click those cleats outside. Ooh, that's a lot of C's.
You can sum it up with one word, Leslie.
What's that?
Boys.
Oh, they're so messy. My favorite was the other day, I made chicken parm for dinner, and Henry is eating it in his golf team shirt. Right. He just came home from a match, gets sauce all over it, and then he's like, You think this could be washed by tomorrow for my team pictures?
I'd say if you started on it right now, it could.
So right. Boys, you are correct, Jimmy. Anywho, we're going to break down the best sort of durable, stylish, water-resistant options for that hardest working spot in your home, the entryway, so that you can walk in with confidence and, still have clean socks. All right, you guys. Money Pit, we are here to help you with all of your home improvement adventures, big or small. So give us a call right now at 888-MONEY-PIT. Jim, who's up first?
Oh, no, the women from New York teaming up on me again. We've got Kim on the line in New York. How can we help out, Kim?
I have a water heater. It's a oil-fired, I guess is what you would say. And 2 years ago, we just got city water lines at my home. The rest of the years, the house is 56 years old. It's been well water. And I'm getting a staining or discolored water.
All right, Kim, are you seeing this only from the hot water side?
Yeah. I put a paper towel in the sink and I drip the water and it's all discolored.
Well, you definitely have some rust in there somewhere, and I'm not quite sure if that's coming from the water heater or if that's coming from the plumbing line, but that's probably what's happening. Now, if you let that water run for a long time as opposed to just dripping, is it still discolored?
Yeah, I let the water in the bathroom sinks just run as thin for quite a while.
All right, and there's a film, like a colored film. How old is that water heater?
Well, I don't know where to look for the age of it.
All right, but what would you guess?
Probably 06. When I had it first service.
All right. Well, it's probably older than that. Then, you know what? It's pretty old then. So you're probably at the end of a normal life cycle for that water heater, and you may be replacing it sooner rather than later. Now, you did say it was oil fired, but you don't have gas in the house?
No, there's no gas lines out here.
All right. So your option was either electric or oil. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. So there's another type of water heater today that's electric, and it's much more efficient than the old-fashioned electric water heaters. And I just want to make sure that you're aware of it. It's called a heat pump water heater, and it uses a different type of technology. And the prices on these have come way down since they first came out. And there are a number of really interesting benefits to those heat pumps today that might make them more attractive to pick up than another oil water heater, which is going to be expensive and not nearly as efficient. So I would definitely take a look at a heat pump water heater.
Oil-fired ones are expensive.
Yeah, they're less efficient, and you're going to pay more for it.
Okay, thank you. I will look into this.
Yeah, definitely look into it. All right, good luck. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
Okay, thank you.
When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
Out in Maryland, Leslie, we have Robin, who's doing a flooring project. How can we help out, Robin?
So I have the whole house. It's a condo in Ocean City, so from the front door to the back door, all needs to be done. But the kitchen area has issues with getting the appliances out, so I wanted to put the laminate from the front wall to the back wall without trying to take out that little Luan thing that they have for, like, the backing for what was linoleum floor. So I think a 1/4 inch going in, and then it has an opening that leads into the living room, dining room area that I wanted to know if I could put one of those tread things there and make the transition look good, or is it going to look not fit together and look funny? I didn't want to take up the Luan in the kitchen that goes underneath of all the cabinets.
Yeah, I hear you, but the only thing here is if you put the laminate right on top of that, you need to make sure that you're not blocking your dishwasher in. Because if you have a floor that's higher than the dishwasher, and it's okay if you have like those screw legs, that adjust the height of the dishwasher, you can kind of give yourself an inch or so of room where you can adjust those legs up or down and get it out without having to deal with removing the countertop over that flooring. I've seen people actually lock the dishwasher in by putting the flooring right up against it, and now they can't get it out without truly removing the countertop, But in terms of your question about the sill, yes, you can put a transition piece across. That's, probably a good idea because there's going to be so much traffic in this room. It will make sure that area of the floor doesn't start to buckle or wear more quickly than the rest of the room. I would probably just choose something that matches the color. I don't know if you're going to find the exact product that you're using made in the sill version, but you could probably find something close. I mean, generally you get those sills from the manufacturer at the same time as you're getting the flooring. But if you've got two completely different things, I would go with something that sort of matches whatever else is in the room. Maybe it's metal, or maybe it's marble, or maybe it's a different color wood that you're pulling an idea from a different room, or the room that it, is adjacent to, or the cabinets. But you'll find something that will go.
Should I have it be wide, like the 4 inches of the wall opening?
Yeah, again, it's got to be about 4 inches wide. I've got a transition in my house that's about 8 inches wide because I've got to cover the whole depth of the floor, and it just happened to work out well for that space. But a threshold should definitely be about 4 inches wide. Otherwise, it's going to simply be hard for you to attach it. And if you've got a really thin piece of trim in there already, you want to make sure that it's wiggle free. There's just a ton of foot traffic in this area, so that width is going to help you keep everything very stable.
Hey, that's very helpful. So lift the feet on the appliances before I install the floor, and widest transition possible.
Yeah, obviously take the refrigerator out too. I mean, you don't want to block in any appliances. You're going to be super sad if you have to get, if chances are, say, you get this beautiful floor down, and then a month or two later, the dishwasher dies, and then you just can't get it out, and you've got to kind of take everything apart, whether it's the counter or the flooring. Let's just do it right the first time.
Yes. Yay! You helped me very much. Thank you.
All right, Robin, good luck with your project. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
Because you know darn well I would break the countertop, Leslie.
Of course you would. I mean, I feel like that's just what's bound to happen. And it's always like that. You start one small project and then, something happens and you break something or you drop something or...
It's my life story.
Yeah, samesies, Jim. Hey, you want to support our podcast and help us grow? Well, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and we'll be forever grateful. Plus, you'll be helping other homeowners discover our show. Just go to moneypit.com/review. So guys, do you think that cleaning the house is only like a spring project? Well, think again. We've got some great fall housekeeping tips to share with you here. You can give your ceiling fixtures, the sconces, even the pendant lights a good dusting, or even a wipe down with a damp microfiber cloth. Of course, have them turned off if that cloth is a little damp. Just, not too much water there, you guys. If you've got a glass shade, you want to remove and wash them with warm soapy water. And while you're at it, check all the bulbs. I mean, this is the perfect time to swap in those warmer white LED bulbs. You'll get better energy efficiency. Plus, you'll have that cozy fall ambiance. And if a fixture looks dated, why not consider upgrading it for an instant mini makeover? All right, I love that. When most people think about painting a room, they kind of picture spring or early summer. They open the windows, there's sunny skies, the birds are chirping. I know I've made painting a room sound like a magical fairy tale, but let me let you in on a little secret here, you guys. Fall might actually be the perfect time to paint. First of all, the weather kind of just works in your favor. Generally, you've got cooler temps, lower humidity. That will help that paint cure evenly. You're not battling the sticky air or the risk of it drying too fast and becoming streaky. And bonus, there are fewer bugs flying in and sticking to that freshly painted window trim. That alone, my friends, is a win. But beyond the weather, fall is also the moment when most of us are spending more time inside, or we're about to start spending way more time inside. And suddenly we're noticing all of the things that felt fine in June because you aren't in the house. And, now they're feeling a little bit tired. So that accent wall didn't quite work. Maybe the baseboards are scuffed up, or perhaps the bathroom could use a little color reboot before the holidays. Well, now is the time. I mean, color-wise, let's talk about that. The season is all about sort of rich, comforting tones. So think warm taupes, deep olive green, even navy with a hint of gray. And don't overlook the trim. A crisp white or an even softer cream can kind of completely transform the space, especially when it's paired with those moody wall colors. Now, if you're unsure, a lot of the home centers have peel and stick samples. You can kind of feel what it looks like in natural light and at nighttime, or you can even buy like a small quart for a sample size, because trust me, what looks awesome at 10 a.m. is going to feel completely different at 6 p.m. Maybe it's still going to be awesome, but it's going to be different, or maybe you're going to hate it. And isn't it better to know when it's just a square rather than an entire wall? And here's something that we've always talked about at Team Money Pit: prep. Prep is everything. I know it's kind of tempting to just pop the lid and dive right in, but a little bit of wall cleaning, patching up old nail holes, taping the edges, I mean, that's going to give you professional looking results. It's kind of the unglamorous stuff, but it makes all of the difference. Now, if you're short on time, this doesn't have to be the whole house makeover. You can paint a single wall. You can refresh that front entryway, or just update the color of the baseboard or the built-in, and that alone can make your space feel brand new. So if you're craving a change this fall, something that feels fresh and cozy and just a little bit luxurious, pick up a paintbrush, because sometimes the easiest way to love your home again is just a gallon of paint away. All right, it's time for some more Q&A. Jim, who's up next? Gosh, I hope I have the answers.
All right, Leslie, let's scoot over to Texas, and Barry is waiting patiently for us with a painting question. How can we help out today, Barry?
Well, I have an arbor outside my house. The beams of my house extend out from the roof, and it makes an arbor outside. And I've painted it a couple of times, and the paint keeps wearing off, and I'm afraid the wood's going to start rotting. And I'm wondering if I should do something special to protect the roof, protect the wood, like maybe put some water seal on it, or I even thought about maybe putting some metal stripping, but I thought that might get wet and make it rot even worse. So I just really want to protect that wood.
All right. Well, first of all, let's talk about the process of which you properly paint exterior wood. To start, you have to make sure that anything that's on that may be peeling or just not sticking well, that you're removing. So if you can, you want to either scrape some of it away, but try not to damage the wood. You can also use a chemical stripping product, which would take the paint off of the wood. And then while you're doing this, try to get as much of it off as you can to get a nice, smooth surface. You can sand away any rough spots if you're stuck. And then I would use an oil-based primer and an oil-based paint if you're allowed in your area, because that's truly going to adhere. Now, the trick is that wood has to be super duper duper dry before you go ahead and do any of the painting, because if it's slightly wet, nothing will adhere properly. Nothing's going to just stay, and that's truly going to help out a ton, having the dry wood.
Okay, so just use oil-based instead of latex paint?
Yeah, I mean, you can use latex paint. It's not going to stand up as well to the elements, but the important part here is making sure that prep work is done well, because you have to get down to the wood, especially if you have multiple layers of paint on there, because each layer of paint is sort of delaminating between the wood and the next layer of paint, and if it's damp or wet and it's just not ever really drying out, nothing is sort of sticking well, and it's all going to just start peeling off. So you want to get the old paint off, make sure it's super dry. That oil-based primer is going to make sure everything sticks really well, and then your quality top coat. And I think you're going to find you'll get a lot more years out of that surface before you have to do that again. You just have to do the right prep work so you make sure that it lasts.
Okay, great. So oil-based primer.
I mean, only if you have areas where you've got any unevenness from paint that's not coming off. So you're not seeing anything like that, that sort of rippled edge of old paint with the new paint. That's really the only places I would do that. And, you can also try a wire brush if it's a rough spot. That's what we like to use just to make sure you're getting rid of everything that's loose. This way you can get down to that original surface, so you really have something that will bite that new paint and stick really well. And then you can feel confident that the primer is going to do the right adhesive bonding here. That's why it's really such an important step. If you have a good quality primer that's really going to stick to the wood and then bond to it, that paint is going to stick well to that primer and keep that whole system together, because, you almost never think about it this way, but paint really is a system. It all has to work together to stick really, really well. And that top coat is going to stick to the primer. It's all going to stick together. All right, good luck with that project, Barry. And thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
Every drop of Jack Daniels is mellowed through sugar maple charcoal, giving Jack its smooth taste. That's what makes Jack, Jack.
Please drink responsibly. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee.
When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
You know, with all of the guests and pop-ins that occur this time of year, the big fall cleanup indoors continues. Let's talk about textiles, throw pillows, curtains, blankets. They absorb dust and allergens, so fall is the prime time for indoor lounging. And while you're at it, you can give those soft furnishings a seasonal refresh. You want to wash or dry clean your curtains. You can toss those pillow covers and those throws in the laundry. You can rotate in those cozier textures like velvet or knit or faux fur for warmth and style. And if you want to up those fall vibes, let's talk about those autumnal tones like burnt orange, mustard, deep plum. It's an easy seasonal refresh. I keep sort of like an old laundry basket in the basement in a closet that has just like a handful of throw pillow covers because they're all the same size.
Yeah.
So I just like pop off the seasonal one and put on the new one and then launder everything and it's ready to go. I mean, it's right in the basket, so I might as well.
Do you make house calls?
I mean, I can come over if you want, but you got to take me to that tree lane. I want to see the colors.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
All right. I'm on my way. But first, who's up next, Jimmy?
Okay, Leslie, it's time to roll up our proverbial radio sleeves.
All right.
And talk windows with Steve.
I'm doing it now.
What are you working on, Steve?
Well, I'm not working on it. Lowe's is working on it. They put the windows out farther. The windows are 4-inch vinyls, and they replaced like a 1-inch aluminum single panes. And so they didn't patch the hole that it would fit in. So now, even though it's caulked on the front and the back, there's air leaking from the sides. What I test that is I just turn on the fan in the bathroom, and I can go to the farthest window in the house and put it by the sashes, or there's a couple holes in the vinyl, and air will be sucked through that. The HVAC, it's so strong it'll blow out a candle. I just had the inspector there, and the inspector kind of said that he's just there to look at the screws. He says he liked the caulk job, and they said they're going to fail it. We're yet to see that if Lowe's gets to hear that the job failed.
Who measured the windows here? Who measured the house? Did the contractor come to measure those windows?
The contractor did that.
Yeah, look, this sounds like a problem with their installed sales department. So I do think you need to go back to Lowe's and file a formal complaint about the job. They certainly don't want to have that work out there. And I mean, it's pretty clear to me from your description that the windows weren't measured correctly, because if they were, they would have just gone in and installed, and they would have been properly sized, and it would have been a much easier project. They are always going to be a little smaller than the opening, and you usually fill that space with an expandable foam sealant, and you want one that has some flex to it. So you definitely want to make sure you go with a foam sealant that's rated specifically for windows and doors, because if you don't, the traditional expandable foam is kind of going to squeeze that window and maybe even squeeze it shut, and you don't want that. So there are the ones that are rated specifically for windows and doors, and that will fill it but allow everything to operate and fill that gap. So I do think you need to go back to Lowe's, file a complaint. I don't know if the inspector is going to be a source for this. You know, if they fail, it helps you, but I don't think that they're necessarily going to be the determination of quality. They just want to make sure that it's watertight, and it sounds to me like you want this to be an airtight installation. And I think you just need to go back to Lowe's, tell them about the issue, and hopefully they come and help you address it.
Okay, thank you.
And like anything, of course, Leslie, you want to go in there politely and you handle things the way it should be, as opposed to, flipping out and stuff.
I save flipping out for if the niceness doesn't always work.
You just don't lead with flipping out.
Don't go in hot.
Yeah, I mean, because think about it. It's common sense. Human nature is somebody's more likely to help you if you're nice to them than if you're not.
True. And, mistakes happen. So it could have just been an issue. I remember when I bought my home. I bought my home in 2003, and we replaced the front entry, and they basically measured for this big mahogany door with side lights, and it was a contractor that my dad had worked with forever. So, it was someone we trusted. and something got mixed up in the writing down of the information. And when it came, the measurements were sort of transposed and everything was wrongly sized and didn't fit. And luckily they were able to pop the old thing that they just cut out back in its spot and go rebuild the other piece. But it happens, people make mistakes.
Boy, what a lot of work.
And expensive too. So go in there, be kind, be calm, explain the situation, and hopefully you walk out with the resolution you want.
Without flipping out.
And then, flip out later if you want. Well, if your basement's just storing holiday decorations and outgrown bikes, it might be time to think bigger. Like bonus room bigger. Finishing a basement is one of the smartest ways to add square footage without building an addition. And now that the weather's cooling down, it's the perfect time to tackle the space from the ground up, literally. So first, let's think about function. Before you pick up a paintbrush, think about how your family is actually going to use that space. Does it need to be a home gym? Is it a guest room? Is it kind of the teen hangout? Or maybe it's just a cozy second living room where everybody can crash for movie night. Well, whatever it is, having that plan is going to help you prioritize the layout, the lighting, the storage. And speaking of layout, basements can be tricky. I mean, you've got support beams, you've got mechanicals, generally there's low ceilings, all of those usual suspects. But there are creative ways that you can work around those. You can build out soffits to hide the ductwork. You can use sliding barn doors instead of swinging doors to sort of save that floor space. You can zone out the room by just using creative lighting and rugs instead of building walls. Now, when it comes to the design, it's waterproof first, design second. This is big here. Before you go adding drywall or flooring, you have to make sure that basement space is dry. So seal cracks, check sump pumps if you've got them, add a dehumidifier if you need it. If you've ever had water down there, even one time, now is the time to deal with it properly. You don't want to finish that space and then have to finish it again a year later because something happens. Now, basements often lack natural light, and lighting is going to be your best friend, so lean into layered lighting. You can do recessed LED lights. Those are great for a clean look, but also think about sconces, floor lamps, even faux windows with backlighting. You just want the space to feel warmer, kind of more like an extension of the main house. All right, now we can talk design. And this isn't sort of your dad's panel-covered basement anymore. You can try lighter colors that will reflect light. You can pick durable flooring like luxury vinyl plank that can handle the moisture of a below-grade room. And smart built-ins will help you maximize your storage. So even if your ceiling is low, why not paint that ceiling a darker color? It can actually help that space feel more intentional and cozy, maybe give it a loft vibe. If you want to add the real value, you can include a bathroom in your layout if it allows. Even a half bath is just going to make that space way more functional and attractive if you ever sell. And remember, you don't have to finish the entire basement all at once. You can start with one zone. Maybe it's a laundry refresh or a small TV lounge and build on from there. And before you know it, you've doubled your living space and you've given your home a whole new chapter. And you're going to be thrilled with all of that extra space. Well, as the days are getting shorter, you may find that your houseplants need a little TLC as the sun shifts and the indoor air dries out. You want to move your sun-loving plants closer to brighter windows and give those leaves a gentle wipe down to maximize the photosynthesis. That's right. Elementary school science works, you guys. That is right.
Never thought you'd use that, did you?
I mean, yes, all the time.
That's a cool word.
Yeah. You also want to take this time to check for root crowding. That's when sort of the pot is overgrown with roots and not enough soil. We had this happen with a peace lily. You can break it up and kind of end up with two plants. But it definitely helps because if the roots are crowded into the pot, it's just not going to work. Definitely time to repot. And if you've got plants on summer break outdoors, bring them inside now, but check for those buggies first. You can add a pebble tray or a humidifier to keep the humidity-loving plants happy as the heat kicks on, but definitely time to pay attention to all of your plants and get them ready for the winter season too.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast? Smart move. Being financially savvy? Smart move. Another smart move? Having State Farm help you create a competitive price when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The holidays have arrived at the Home Depot, and we're here to help bring the excitement with decor for every part of your home. Check out our wide assortment of easy-to-assemble pre-lit trees so you can spend less time setting up and more time celebrating. And bring your holiday spirit outdoors with unique decor like one of our Santa inflatables. Whatever your style, find the right pieces at the right prices this holiday season at the Home Depot.
All right, let's be real, guys. If there's one part of your home that takes a beating every single day, it is the entryway. Whether it's muddy boots, soggy umbrellas, kids, pets, or all of the above, your mudroom or that front hall has to stand up to some serious abuse. But the good news, with the right flooring, you can have something that's both tough and terrific looking. So let's start with the gold standard of flooring, luxury vinyl plank. It's called LVP. I mean, this stuff is made for those high traffic zones. It's 100% waterproof, it's scratch resistant, and it comes in tons of finishes from rustic wood look to clean modern concrete tones. And it's got just enough give underfoot to be comfy if you're standing in boots sorting through the mail or grabbing your grocery bags, whatever.
Coming down a chimney.
All right, Santa, ease up. You got a few more weeks and I'm not done with my shopping. Okay?
I'm a dad. It's in my blood.
I know. I'm just not ready. I'm not ready.
Sorry to throw you off course here, Les.
I'm not ready. What is it, like 70 days? I can't. I'm not ready. Not ready. All right. Next up, flooring, Santa. Porcelain tile. This one, classic. I mean, it's classic for a reason. It's ultra durable. It's easy to clean. It's not going to blink at water from a puddle or a snowdrift. You want to dial it up a notch? You can try a pattern tile or like a hexagon layout for a little bit of wow factor. And don't forget, this is a great opportunity for radiant heat. I mean, tile gets a bad rap for being cold underfoot, but throw a heating mat underneath and it's going to be like a spa every single day. Now, if you love the look of real wood, consider going with an engineered hardwood. It's more stable than solid wood, which means it's not going to warp. It won't shift as easily when the temperatures swing. And when the moisture does roll in, you just want to be sure to choose a water-resistant finish and maybe keep a big absorbent rug by the door to kind of catch those first few wet steps. Now, another great option is sealed concrete. If you want a more modern look, it's kind of industrial or minimalistic, this is going to be a winner for you. It's poured to last, and you can even tint it or stain it for a custom finish. You just want to make sure that it's sealed properly so you don't end up with salt stains or watermarks. Now, if you're worried about slipping, no matter what floor you choose, you want to pay attention to the texture. So look for matte finishes or anti-slip ratings, especially if your entryway tends to get slick. And don't underestimate the power of a great doormat or a boot tray to kind of keep the worst of the mess in check. Style still matters, you guys. I mean, these spaces are the first impression of your home. So whether it's a herringbone tile, a bold pattern rug layered on top of the LVP, or a rich dark engineered wood, there is plenty of room to blend form and function. And bonus tip, you can add baseboard or cove trim that's moisture resistant too. I mean, the floors aren't the only things that take a splash in the mudroom, okay? All right, that's some great advice to keep the mess outside and the inside looking amazing. Welcome back to the best part of the show, according to Jim Kenzie. It's his favorite. He loves to answer emails. He doesn't answer personal emails, so just... Right. You know, keep in mind, if you're writing about the show, he's going to go right to it. But if you have a question about something else, he's going to ignore it. All right. So, Jim, who's your favorite home improvement related question for this hour?
Well, Mirabelle reached out to the Money Pit for suggestions on basement flooring. She says, we're renovating the basement to provide... I'm sorry, that was a rotten thing to do to you, Mirabelle. We're renovating the basement to provide space for a home office and wondered what option we might have for a floor. We really like hardwood, but we understand that there's, well, that it can swell, basically. What are the best waterproof or damp-proof flooring options?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we see a lot of options in flooring today. I mean, more so than ever before. But, if you like the look of hardwood, you could use engineered hardwood, which is going to be dimensionally stable. It's kind of a floating floor. I mean, it's not going to stand up to a major flood, but you can use it in a basement space. But I mean, the best thing to really use is probably something that's like a vinyl plank. It can be called a luxury vinyl plank or a rigid vinyl plank. And those are two options that aren't terribly expensive. I mean, maybe $5 a square or less. Depends on what kind of look you're going for, what the finish is, how wide the plank is, etc. But you're going to be in that sort of $3 to $5 per square range. And it is super duper durable. I mean, 100% waterproof. When you think about all of the options for how it can look, you can really create a well-designed basement space. And then if you're like, oh, I just hate the idea of a cold vinyl floor, first of all, they're not, but I get it. I'm an area rug girl myself. So you can go ahead and put an area rug down on that floor to give you that cozier feel and not worry about if there's moisture or if there's a flood down at that point, because that floor will stand up and the rug you can dry out. All right, Mirabelle? And sorry that this is Jim introducing Mirabelle. So you can make fun of him if you want. Send him that personal email. Tell him to look out for it.
Touche, Leslie. Well, there's a reason this season is called fall. Leslie has tips on how to handle disposing of all those leaves in today's edition of Leslie's Last Word. Leslie?
Yeah, that's right, Jim. Fall is kind of doing its thing. And if your yard is starting to look like a crunchy leaf-covered carpet, you're not alone. But before you grab a match and start burning those piles, let's talk. I mean, is that really something people are doing? Burning those leaves kind of seems like an easy way to get rid of them, but it's definitely not the safest. I mean, flames can spread faster than you think. Plus, you're literally going up in smoke with all of the nutrients that your yard could have used come springtime. Now, a smarter move here is to compost them. You can toss those leaves in a compost bin, and you'll have garden gold by the time planting season rolls around. Or, if you have a mulching mower, just kind of run right over the leaves. The chopped up bits are going to feed your lawn all winter long. And hey, if your town does a leaf pickup, here's a trick that makes life easier. You can lay a tarp down in the yard and then rake the leaves right onto it. And when it's full, you just kind of drag it and dump it at the curb. It's faster, it's cleaner, and it's way less frustrating than stuffing all those bags. However you handle those leaves, just remember, fall cleanup doesn't have to be a drag, and your yard is going to thank you later. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us this hour. We love spending our time with you during the best home improvement season there is. We helped you refresh your decor with a fresh coat of paint, regain some living space by finishing the basement, and we got your entryway ready to stand up to everything the winter can throw at you. Your garden worked hard all summer, guys, so now is the time to return the favor. Coming up next week, we're going to share the essential steps to get your flower beds and veggie patch prepped for the winter so you'll be ready for a vibrant, healthy spring. Thanks again, you guys. And remember, you can do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone. We'll see you next week.
On the Money Pit Radio Show. On the Money Pit Radio Show.
Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Men need a store that has the right thing for their thing. Like a Kenneth Cole suit made with Showflex fabric to keep them cool at their cousin-in-law's third wedding in the middle of July. Whatever the thing, Men's Warehouse has the clothes for it. Love the way you look, Men's Warehouse.